Hello, this is the provider login page for LightQ. LightQ is a EHR and questionnaire builder system. The name LightQ is going to be going away pretty soon as we are very close to releasing a new version called Pocket EHR, which will allow you to do virtually everything you see here on a smartphone or tablet. Actually, you can do all of this on a tablet. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the provider login and sign in. I've already put the information there that I need. And this is the dashboard, or the main dashboard. Up here is what's called your last name is test, demo test. Here's the account information. And you can make any additions or changes to this you want. You can also change your password here. I'm going to go ahead and just save that. Now, to navigate out of this, you can either go here and look for dashboard, my patients, or groups, or you can go up here to the breadcrumbs and then click on dashboard and it'll take you back to the previous page. So this is an alert system that you're seeing on this page. It'll be configured differently for the smartphone version, but it'll essentially be this information. This is where you get heads up for questionnaires in terms of their status, whether they're ready to send, whether they're started, whether they're started but not completed, excuse me, or it'll tell you the number of questionnaires are ready to review that have just been completed, and whether or not a patient has unsubscribed from questionnaires. And that's in this system, we have it set up so that if a patient doesn't answer a questionnaire within 3 days, we put it in unsubscribed or declined status, which means by default, they're just no longer participating in measurement. So you can actually pull it up and go ahead and in there and look. So if you wanted to look at 3 that are ready to view, you can go ahead and click View All. It'll take you to that page and it'll pull up what's ready to view. Excuse me, pollen. And you go ahead and just click on View Report, complete the action. Some of this is going to be different. So the smartphone's going to have a lot of this kind of stuff going on the left side that you can close out, and then the rest of this will fit nicely in a smartphone. So here's a confidential report. So you can then go back to this patient's info from here if you want, and this is basically their chart. You can go back to just your patients in general, or you can go back to your dashboard. Now, if you want, you can also, from this page, you remember being here, you can also go to your all your patients there. I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, you can get anywhere you want this way, or you can just go ahead and click on here. It tells you the total number of active patients in this demonstration file is 23. And basically, we're waiting for this to load up. It's the prime time for the internet, and I'm plugged into my phone, which is a hotspot. So things are just a little slow here. Usually, it just pops right up. Okay, actually, what happened was my smartphone battery died, and I just had to plug it back in. So here is all the patients that we have in this demo file, and you can see here you can sort things. You got up to 3 pages. You can also switch the page length. You can search for anything here using that, and if you want to view anything, you just go ahead and pop on View. And that'll bring up a patient's chart. Let's just go back for a little bit here. Here's where you create a new patient record. And to do that, you just put in all this information here, including the primary and secondary diagnosis if you have it. And you select their insurance. Now down here, are some alerts that if you want to send questionnaires, for example, by email, the patient has to sign up by email. And they can do that on this website by going to ready123go.com, or you can actually send them a link to the sign up page. We do the sign up to get permission to send these questionnaires. The patient just puts in their email address, and that authorizes us to send them a questionnaire, and they can opt out on the questionnaire when they get it. They can just select and say, change my mind. Also down here is where you can ask the patient to send the word start to this text, this phone number, which is a text answering service kind of thing, and that will authorize their phone number to receive questionnaires. And then you can just go ahead and save this when you're done. I'm going to go ahead and cancel at this point. So let's go ahead and look at how to send questionnaires and things like that. So let's go into Mike Renock. And here you're going to see 3 questionnaires are not sent. And that basically means that they're set up, but they have not been sent. And there's probably some already in there. We've got these. So for example, if you wanted to send a comprehensive screening, you could go ahead and send it. Just hit send by text or email and hit complete. We're not sending it yet. Let's just do a comprehensive measure. We can send that by email and then hit complete, and it'll send it to their email address. And here you write back, you got 2 sent, 2 not sent, 1 sent, 11 viewed. These have all been declined. This is a demo site. So here's the 11 that have been viewed. And to look at any one of these, you just click the view report. You also have some other options. You can delete it. That's if you made a mistake. And here's the report. And you can, at this point, you can create a PDF of the report, which is fairly straightforward. You can download it if you want. Let's just go ahead and close that out. You can also send by fax. And here's the fax information. This is for sending to, for example, physicians. And you can go back to view questions or just, look at the summary. So that's basically it. Let's go back to patient info again. And of course, you can still do the navigation up here through the breadcrumbs. Here's your patient info, which you had entered, and this can be edited, archived, or deleted. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty soon we'll have another button up here that says download all records to PDF files. That's in the works. So let's go ahead, close this by clicking on the name, and let's analyze some data. And let's say we want to analyze this data for a particular patient, and we want to look at either anxiety or depression or both of them combined. Let's just look at the anxiety scores. And we'll look at from day 0, the first time you saw them, and let's go out, 200 days. Fetch the data, and here's what we got. And that's pretty much doing pretty darn good in terms of anxiety going from severe to the mild, barely clinically relevant. You can also create a PDF of this if you want, so you can give it to your patient, or you can print it out over here by hitting the print and just talk to them about it. It's a little encouraging to see that you're getting better. So let's go back to patient info. Now here's this button is called Load Questionnaire. And so if you've used the anonymous screening tool, which is available at ready123go.com, a person can complete a questionnaire, and after completing the questionnaire, they get a copy of the report plus an access code. And if they share that access code or key with you, they can type it in here. You can type it in here, and it automatically uploads into your chart, which is kind of a cool thing. So going back to patient info, let's say we've got a couple not sent, okay? Down here's a code. Now, if you send them to a website, I'm just going to give you the screening page. This is at lightq.co/take screening. And we'll can send that link to someone and actually give them the access code to put in if you want, which you can bypass authorizing questionnaires. Give them the code over the phone, and they can take the screening. They can also do this at, let's go to ready123go.com. Which is another place that they can do. Here's the use an access code. So if they click on this, you'll get the access code. If we go back to Ready123Go, you can also just start here by clicking on this, and you get an anonymous screening that's all fired up and ready for you to go, and it's completely anonymous, and then you get your code. So let's go back to LightQ. There's your code. We're probably going to activate this so that you can actually just go ahead and click on this and it'll start a screening using this access code on your computer or your tablet, and you can lock out this screen, and then they can complete the questionnaire on a smartphone. You can also just hand them a smartphone or a tablet. If you have an inexpensive tablet for $35, you can just go to the website and put this code in, and boom, it goes. So to send a questionnaire, let's say you can select the one you want to send. So you can add one here. You can see we already sent the mental health one. So if you send a questionnaire that's already been sent but not completed, it'll give you an error, and it'll tell you you've already sent one. So you've either got to delete that one that you sent and send it again, or just not send that. And you can't, duplicate things. You could add two. See, so you've already got an instance of this questionnaire that's ready to send. So it won't let you pile up duplicate questionnaires. So let's go back now and look at. We've looked at load, analyze, information, pretty much done everything in here we could. We're going to go to chart notes. Now, this is optional. I mean, you don't have to use chart notes here. You can just use the questionnaire just fine. Here's all the chart notes. So if you want to look at a chart note, and of course you can sort them, by name, type, or and you can also look here and see which ones are signed and not signed. I haven't signed all of them. Let's just go in and look at this one, okay, on 3/4/19. It wasn't signed. Should have been signed a while ago, right? But it's still sitting there. I got a, so let's view. You can view, edit. You can also look at the history of having faxed it, or you can delete it. So we're just going to view it for now, complete the action. You can create a PDF of this, or you can send by fax, but it's not complete. We'll go through and look at it and see, well, what's missing. These are all interesting little drop downs here, right, that you can select pretty much all these things: the progress, the frequency of sessions, intellectual functioning, insight, your mental status, diagnosis. All this stuff is selectable. And here's your status. This is where you document the patient request records, focus on problems, patient requests minimal history and records, patient agrees to coordination of care or not. This is where you document what the status of where we're at, and whether you obtain verbal consent or written and verbal consent. So let's see here. Down here is where you can click off any behavioral interventions. You can open up by clicking and just check and see what's happening there. It's kind of handy because if you start looking through these lists, you start realizing you do a lot more than you document. Lifestyle interventions, you can leave something up, scroll through it, open it up, look there quickly to see if there's anything else you want to check. Very positive. Prog and focus. Let's talk about it. This came out about alcohol issues, for example. Mental status. Affect is normal, sad. I'd say they were a little tearful. You know, you can just go through and update these. You know when things have changed, and generally just going through these you can quickly see, because you know what's there, what's going to happen. Medical and physical health, they told me a little bit today that they had some arthritis that I wasn't aware of, and some back pain. Risk factors, you know, denies suicidal ideation intent. Yeah, let's make it also and plans. So mental health history, you know, outpatient psychiatric care as a child, and they also had some outpatient psychotherapy as an adult. And here's your various treatment plan options, treatment goals, maybe clinical improvement based on outcome measures, and symptom burden, clinically significant reductions. In other words, what you're looking at, symptom burden goals, you'd say, well, we're looking for reductions in panic and skills, health, wellness, clinically significant improvement in, you know, physical activity, maybe emotional regulation. That's a goal. So down here, you've got also some notes where you can type in text, anything in here. Now, the wonderful thing about this is it's not only fun, but it populates forward. So let's say I'm not done with this and I want to come back. But if I want to, you know, sign and date it, I can sign and date it. And and if you want to sign it, you sign it there. Now, let's go back up here and scroll all the way to the top. And here's where you could create a PDF of this if you wanted, again, sent by fax. So let's go back to patient's chart notes, okay? Let's say we want to create a new chart note. We've got 3 different kinds of chart notes. Come on. So there's a basic chart note, and you have 3 types: a blank one, or this is just basically a, I'll go ahead and create one here for you to look at. This is a chart note where you can just simply type in a note and just a few little things. I'm going to go ahead and go back to chart note. Something that I think is pretty cool and a lot of people like. Let's say you forgot about 5 appointments and you're like, oh gosh, you know, I didn't chart them and I got to get them done now and way behind. You go into what's called rapid recovery, and then you pull up this calendar by clicking on the space, and you can say, you know, I forgot those 2 chart notes, and you click on those, and when you hit next, the system will create a chart note on this date, you know, on this, for this date based on that note. So it'll populate forward any chart notes you've missed, and then when you confirm it, you'll find them in here unsigned. So basically, it's good to keep up on signing your chart notes and finishing them. This makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun. Well, it's fun, I guess. It's a funny kind of fun. Oh, let's look at one last chart note here. It's the one you can send physicians. Um, the patient progress and coordinated care note. So if you restore from the most recent, puts in all this data for you, and then you pick the questionnaire you want to send and put in day 0 and 200. You fetch the data, and then you go ahead and put in your note, and then you date it, okay, and you sign it, and you save it, okay. Date of appointment required. So let's sign it today. And then go back and sign it down here. Sorry, I got this thing in the way. Let's see here. Now we go to the end. Okay. There's the progress note. You can open this up, view it, complete the action to see it. Now you've got this with your chart note, your graph, and everything, so you can create a PDF, right? There's your PDF of your chart note. And then, let's go back to here. If you want, you can send it by fax. So you click that, and put in the to and from and phone number regarding, and hit send, and off it goes to a physician. So I'm going to do some editing of this to make it a little easier for you to see. But you're probably going to notice this time thing down here is off because I hit the pause, and I will have edited out some unnecessary stuff. So I think I pretty much covered most everything in this. One last thing, when you log out, be sure to don't just close the page. Log out and then log the system out. And that way nobody can get back into it later if they sit down. Here's some handy security tips. Read these. Make sure you do these things, and that'll cover a massive amount of security problems, or if you just have good security hygiene, right? Go ahead and log out. You're back to that page. I hope this was interesting and helpful. Take care. Bye.